Okay, so welcome everyone to our study abroad podcast series. So today we have Pearl, who is from Delhi, and now she is in US, New York, to be precise. So welcome Pearl to our podcast.
Thank you so much, Vishal. Thank you for having me here.
Too. So Pearl, when was the very first time you got excited about studying abroad options? Like when was the very first time you knew that there is something called New York?
Oh, I had no idea. Like back in school, I didn't know what I wanted to do next. But I always wanted to like explore new countries. And I told my dad that I want to go to I want to do my undergrad somewhere. He said, no, I would want you to stay next to me. But then I did my undergrad in India. And after that, I worked for a couple of years. I also did UPSC. After that, I realized, okay, there's nothing left for me in India, and I should do and upskill myself because I want to get into data science. So I did some research. I applied to a couple universities, got into Columbia. I came here. I had no idea. The first day I landed here, my friends took me to Times Square. I was like, what's that? I never heard about it before. So I was too I had no idea. But then I think it's the best decision that I've made in my life. I'm really, really happy with my decision.
Sure, sure. So
Yeah.
you did 3-year bachelor's in Delhi, right?
Yes, yes. I did stats honors, and after that, it's only for 3 years. But since my curriculum was such that when I did my best evaluation, I was acceptable for applying in US universities, even without a 4-year degree program.
So is that so? It's hearing it as an exceptional thing probably. Usually, most US universities want a 4-year bachelor's, right? So your course
Right.
is very specific to like 3-year bachelor eligibility, or is it like for few of the courses they do this exception?
No, it's basically you evaluate what you've studied here in India with the US curriculum. And when I got that evaluated, it was best evaluation. And I got to know that my 3-year degree is equivalent to 4-year degree in the United States. So that's why I was eligible for this program. Like I could have applied to any program for that matter. Like I asked a bunch of universities if that is acceptable because my best score is XYZ. I don't remember the score right now. But since it was such that I was able to apply to universities, even if they asked for a 4-year degree program.
And you had a criteria to check all this, the eligibility criteria, like a test or something, assessment test.
Yeah, yeah. So you submit your transcripts to WES Evaluation Services, WAS, and they come back to you within 15 days and they tell you like if your degree is equivalent to 4-year degree program in the United States, and you get a score based on that. And once it's like if you have a good score, you are good to go. Like you can apply to universities and you just have to submit that report to the colleges or universities you're applying to.
And this can be done to any degree, or this can be done only to like the degrees that you applied to? I mean, is it like a generic thing? Any you could have applied to any
Yeah, it's
course?
a very generic. Yeah. It's a very generic thing. You get this best evaluation done. There are two services I remember. If But I applied to only WES, and I just had to submit my transcripts, all my transcripts from my undergrad degree, and they converted that to US equivalent. And once that's done, you can apply to universities. It's just to make sure that you are eligible for the master's program abroad if they ask for a 4-year degree program. Like because sometimes I remember my friends, they were studied at a tier 2 college and their degree was not equivalent to a 4-year degree, so they couldn't apply to those colleges or universities.
So it's like some kind of common portal or website where you upload your grades and all, and then they give you that, okay, you are
Yeah,
eligible. Like yours is as good as
yeah,
a 4 year, so you are eligible for any US universities.
yes, that's correct.
Okay, okay.
I
And
can
then,
send you the link after the call.
yeah, yeah, sure, sure. And then somebody guided you on this that you can check all this. Like, who guided you on this? Like, because by
Yeah.
default, people would have told you that, your 3 year maybe not valid for US. So how did you know that I should do all this to check my eligibility?
Right. So, my sister, she was applying for colleges and she just finished, at that time, she just finished her undergrad degree, or maybe she was in her last semester and then she was doing it. And then she told me that you have to do it because we had 3-year degrees. She did BCom honors and I did stats honors. So, we both studied at Delhi University and it was a 3-year program for both of us. And she was doing it. She had, I don't know from where she got this information. She had friends who were already in US. So she knew that she has to do it. And then I got to know about this and I started doing it. That's
So
how I
you
got to know
both
about
came to
this.
US, is it? Ultimately.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's good. That's good. You already had a support group then.
Yeah, definitely. She studied at NYU. I studied at Columbia.
Okay,
And
neighbors almost.
yes.
Okay, so US was the only country you applied to, or you considered other countries also?
So for me, my case was very different. I had experience before, and I had no plan to go abroad. Like I didn't plan it beforehand. So I just started my journey, you would say like 4 months before I came to US. And so I applied to only two universities. One was in Canada, McGill University. And within a week, I got an offer from that. I had an interview, and after that interview, within I guess 2 3 days, they gave me the offer. And then my mother suggested like I should apply to US universities as well, just to see if I can get it, because my sister was only applying to US universities. She was not planning to go to Canada. And then I applied to Columbia University. That was the only university I applied to. And luckily I got into both of them, and I chose Columbia over McGill.
Okay, okay. So the driving factor was like, let's say, your support group, your sister, and also the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
good. I
thought
mean,
US had opportunities. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's good. You applied to two, and then you got into two, and then you chose one,
Yeah.
right? So you saved a lot of application fee that way.
Yeah, and my sister, I guess she applied to 10 univers or 7 or 8 universities. So she spent money on my behalf, which was okay.
So totally 10 colleges, roughly. Usually that's the number when people apply like
Yeah,
1% 10 college. Okay, let's split the
yeah,
10 college between two of us. You do two, I do
yeah,
seven.
yeah.
Okay, okay, sure,
Right,
sure. So then you both got into the college at the in the same semester, right? So you took the
right,
like the
right.
flight and all together, like visa, etc., everything together.
Yeah.
Which
She
of
started later than me because she was all prepared. She knew that she had to come here, but I was not prepared. So my process was a bit late, but we landed at the same time. Yeah.
same plane, same flight, right?
No, different planes because she booked it in advance. She had a visa appointment. I didn't have any appointment at that time. And so I had to do some things like, so I got my appointment later than hers. And so she flew before me. And I came one day, I guess, after her flight landed
Okay,
here.
okay. So you had a bit more hiccups on the visa process. Took a bit
Yeah,
longer.
yes. Because I didn't have any idea. Like it didn't take long, but it was just I started very late. Luckily, I had like there were slots open, so I could book it. And but she did it like 6 months ago, and I did it like 1 week ago. So that was the problem.
It's very interesting, right? You applied to only two colleges, then your visa was also delayed. But ultimately, the delay was just one day, right? In the landing part.
Yeah. So basically, I was all prepared to go to Canada. I paid my entire fee there, and it was a good university, McGill University. I got applied, like I was accepted to the MMA program, and I was planned to go to Canada, but then my visa didn't come on time, and then I was like, should I wait or what should I do? And meanwhile, I got acceptance from Colombia, and I was like, okay, check it. I'll just go to US because my classes would start in August, and my visa was not there yet. It was like July, and I didn't have my visa at that time for Canada. So I applied then for US visa. I got it within a week, and that was easy. Like it just took me a week to get the visa because the slots were open. But the process was long because of Canada. Like the visa wasn't coming from
You
Canada.
paid the whole fee of McGill, is it?
Yeah.
Or one
Yes,
semester fee?
yes. It was very cheap. It was one third the fee of Colombia, and and I even got scholarship there. So to apply for Canadian visa, if you're applying through like student something, I don't remember the category now, but you have to pay the entire fee at that time. And if you have taken loan or something, you have to apply to the other visa. So I paid my entire fee. They didn't return me the entire fee back though. But
They didn't return
but
anything,
yeah,
right? Zero returns.
they did return me. They deducted like something,
Significant.
and yeah.
Something that was that made you unhappy.
No, like now I'm fine with that sort of money, but at that time I was like, why would they deduct that? I could have booked my entire fee, like a flight with that sort of money, but
Okay. So your visa got delayed a bit, and your accommodation, how did you, I mean, you and your sister found the accommodation together, or it was like some kind
no.
of
So
arrangement?
she had it all planned beforehand, and because I was like at the last moment I had decided everything. So I joined some Facebook groups and I found a couple people like they were one girl was leaving from an apartment and I was like, yeah, this seems nice. And the roommates, I talked to them over phone. They seemed nice. And then I was like, okay, let's just hope it turns out to be fine. And I found an apartment like that. I didn't have to pay any broker fee, lease, like the amount that you submit beforehand, which was nice. And it was a good apartment.
So
So
you
I made,
compensated for some of the losses.
yes, I did.
Okay, okay. Sure.
Right.
So your and your sister college are quite like, I mean, distance-wise, not so near to each other. Like you couldn't stay together for that time.
Yeah. So it was like, it's a 40 minutes gap. Like she stays in Brooklyn, I stay in Manhattan, and I like Manhattan more than Brooklyn. So, and she is quite happy because her college was near her home. So we just chose our apartments near our colleges so that it's easy for us to travel every day to the college. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And
So we
once you
had separate
landed,
accommodation.
and once you landed in US, what was, so this was your first time you came to US or any abroad country, or
Yeah, it was my first time.
first time abroad?
Yes.
So this
Yeah.
was your first solo abroad trip.
Right.
And which
Yeah.
airline did you choose for your first trip?
I chose, it was a very unconventional airline. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's Ethiopian Airlines.
So did
And
it land in some Ethiopian stopover?
yes, it did. Yeah. Addis Ababa. And it was actually pretty nice. I had no idea. I had I got a good deal. So it was a very convenient flight. I loved it. And my family, they were scared because they were like, we didn't know how this flight is. And I don't know if you'll be they had no idea like if I would be reaching safely because we heard something about the airlines, like there are terrorist attacks or something. But it was all fine. It was very good. The food was very nice. So I would recommend it. But yeah, it was a business class flight, so I don't know. It was nice. But for economy, I would say you can choose any other flight because it
You
was
chose
too tight for economy.
business class
Yeah,
to fly.
yeah, I got a good deal over that. So in the price of economy, I got business class.
And your sister also flew business class or economy?
She also flew business class because it was our first time traveling abroad, and we had no idea. And my our parents were very scared, like how these two girls will be staying alone for the first time, and so they booked a business class. But she flew from Emirates.
Okay, okay.
I couldn't
So
find an
huge
Emirates like the
difference
price.
in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
in the business class, maybe the price as well as the service also.
Yeah. Even though we booked for the same price, but she booked it in advance. So, but when I was trying to book for that flight, it was 10 times expensive than what she
Okay,
booked it
okay.
for.
So that time your mind triggered that okay, let's change the airline and still take a
Yeah,
business.
right.
Okay, sure. So once you landed in US, what were your initial shocks? What were your surprises? First few things you observed?
Okay, so the air was very clean. Coming from Delhi, I felt it, literally felt it. Like by breathing here, I felt, wow, the air can. I had no idea Delhi's air was so bad because you're living there and you don't understand it. You know it, like there's a lot of pollution, like the air quality is not the best. And but here you felt, like I felt it, literally felt it. And I don't know, it felt like home from day one. So I didn't face any problem. And my aunt, she lives in US, so she picked me up from the airport. So it was like home away from home. And like, I don't know, it's just me. I didn't face any cultural shock or anything. Like I was all fine here because I was all prepared. Like I knew how the life is going to be, and I was really excited to enjoy the independence. So it
So you
was
enjoyed
all
the independence on the very first day.
yeah. I was so excited and happy. Like it was like I was meant to be here and I just came here. So it was like that.
But I think the whole catalyst thing was your sister who pushed you and all because you did
Yeah.
think about all this.
Yeah. She was going and yeah, right.
Correct, correct. So, you were like you said, you were mentally prepared for all this. So, is it also because you saw some American movies from childhood, or nothing like that?
I did watch a lot of movies. But I would say I was always fascinated. I don't know, like I used to tell when my parents tell me that I was a kid who used to tell them every day, like I'll be settling abroad, and I would always talk about that, but I didn't know when would that happen or even if that would happen or not. Um, so it felt like home somehow. I don't know. Maybe I have some past life connection from this place. So
Past life regression analysis.
yeah.
Okay, okay. So I think you were quite happy then when you once you reach and like okay, it's like okay, it's like seems like I'm like back
Yeah.
home or something.
Yeah. It felt like that actually. Like I felt more home here, like more like home here than in India, I feel.
Okay. Sure. So your aunt picked you from airport and she dropped you at your accommodation, or she took you first to her home and then next day you came to your
No,
accommodation?
no. So I stayed at her home for a week, I think for a week, or I don't remember the exact number of days. And then when I was all like settled, she showed me around. She told me how things work here. And then I guess she dropped me after that.
So both of you
After a couple
probably
of
were doing the same, right?
yeah.
I mean,
What did you
your
say?
sister was also staying with the aunt for 1 week, or
No, no, no. No. So she was staying at her accommodation. She wanted to set everything beforehand. And my accommodation, because I was supposed to get it on 15th of August and I landed on 12th. So I had 3 days anyway. So I couldn't go to my place. So I stayed at my aunt's place and then she dropped me after a week.
okay, okay, sure,
Yeah.
sure. And once you were at your accommodation, then you had to do maybe cooking, cleaning, etc. by yourself. So how does it feel after
Yeah.
flying from business class doing all this by yourself?
Yeah. So I was all prepared, as I told you. And it didn't feel like work for, like, honestly. And even though I never cooked, I did cook something in India, like pasta or pizza and
Maggie.
all those things. Yeah, Maggie. But it was nice. I was very excited to do my own thing and be independent. So it didn't feel like work at all. Like, I think if you're prepared in advance that this is something that you'll have to do, and even cleaning and washing clothes, it's very simple here and it's very systematic, as you might be knowing it. So basically, there's no labor. It's just you have dishwasher, you have everything. So it's very convenient in that sense. And I really liked it here. And when I tell my parents as well, like it's very convenient. You should also do things like that. You should have a dishwasher, you should have a washer and dryer at your home. It's very convenient. Why do we want to burden the maids as well in India? Um, I felt like home, and I knew that this was something that I have to do here, and I was all prepared, so it didn't feel like work at all.
So you
Yeah,
enjoyed the maid-free life.
yeah, I enjoyed it.
But in the cooking thing, did you use any hack like cook once and eat 5, 10 times or anything like that, or you're cooking like every day?
Initially, I did that. Initially, I did that. I used to see people used to meal prep everything in advance. Like on Sunday, you prepare it for the entire week. And I did it for, I think, a week or so. And then I was like, no, I can't do this. I can't eat the same thing again and again.
Now you continue this legacy of like cooking every day.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's better. Otherwise, people gain a lot of weight here. I don't know.
So were you
Yeah.
surprised with that weight gain statistics of the people in America?
Yeah, I was so shocked because I think people gain 20 pounds or they lose 20 pounds. And thank God I was in the other side. I was in the latter part.
I mean,
So
you
it
lost
had,
weight, you mean?
yeah, I
You
did
didn't
lose.
maintain.
But then I'm fine with that. Like I'm at my perfect weight right now.
Okay, okay. So after you came to your accommodation, how many days later you had your classes starting?
Oh, so I had I think about 2 weeks before my classes started. And so I had 2 weeks. I went out, I saw a couple things, I explored New York, and I met my batchmates. They were already here. I attended some events from the university. So I had that
Okay.
before my classes started.
And when once your classes started, what were the key differences or few differences that you saw, like in the education system, Delhi versus New York or India versus
Yeah,
US?
yeah. So here, the classes were, um, I think they were focused more on the practical side, and like they focused on practical knowledge, like working in the industry rather than just theoretical knowledge. And the classes were two-way, like you communicate with the professor, and they were very interactive. But in India, I don't think that was the case for me, particularly like the professor used to come and write on the board, and like very limited interaction. And here, the professors were very interested in knowing what we are doing and how we can contribute in the class and how others can learn from our experiences. So, that was something new for me. And I think that is very important because at the end of the day, you're working in the industry and you should have an idea how things work and you can learn from others' experiences. So, I think that was really new for me and I liked it. That
What about calling them by their first name? Was that also very natural occurring for you, or
Yeah,
you had to
initially,
struggle?
no, no, no. Yeah, I was struggling because in India, I used to call my professors like sir or ma'am, or but here you have to call them by their first name, or you just say professor and their name or their last name. And so it was like I took some time to adapt to that change, but then it worked out very well in the end.
What about
Initially, they were,
the
yeah.
what about the assignments and all that was given to you initially? Like, was it easy for you, hard for you, very hard for you that you had to like pretty much disturb the whole class?
So the assignments were challenging. They were not easy at all. They basically made you think a lot on what you're supposed to do or write in the assignments. In India, it was super easy. Like one person does the job and the others they just copy because I was in the copying side. So I just used to copy from my friends and submit my assignments. And here, because of you can't copy from other people, otherwise there's like plagiarism things happening. So you have to be original in your work. So that was something I was struggling initially because I was like, I can't even search it online. You have to cite everything that you use. So it was a bit difficult, but then I adapted to it. It worked out well.
So you felt
Yeah.
upgraded in terms of standing on your
Yeah.
feet here.
Right. Yeah, actually, I felt like, okay, I'm doing something. Actually, I'm actually doing something. In India, I was just copying stuff and submitting and getting A grade or whatever. Like here, it was difficult.
You started to feel more and more independent with time.
Yes, yes, I did.
Correct, correct. Did you also try any part-time job or internships during your classes?
Yes, yes, I did. So I had an habit, like this is a habit of mine that I talk to people. So I was talking to one of my professors and I was just sharing. I had no internship at that time. So I was just talking to him and saying that I'm looking for internships. And if you have anything in your industry or wherever you're working, just let me know. So I would talk to professors or people around me. And then I got an internship offer from my professor. He was working with a company, so he made me talk to the CEO, and I got the internship that way. Even though like my friends were struggling at that time, even I was struggling. I was applying for internships, but like you get a call once in a while, but you have no idea whether you'll be getting that job or not. But then this thing actually changed my entire game. Like when I'm talking to the CEO directly, it it is something different and I got the internship. They didn't even have a position for me, but they created one. So that was something that I learned. Okay, if you have good connections, you can make your way through it.
And how many months later was this happening? Like when you started your education?
Yeah, so it happened after 4, 5 months.
Okay. And what was your
And
rejection roller coaster in this 4, 5
oh my
months?
God, that was, yeah, it was too much. And like everybody was applying for jobs, and I was so confused. Why are they running after jobs? Like, why don't I had no idea how job market works. And so I was applying to jobs, and I was getting mails like, sorry, we couldn't hire you, we have chosen someone. And it's like, why it happens? And then actually stopped applying to jobs. I was like, this is too depressing. And then somebody told me about like networking. You should network, and then they refer you and you get a job from that. So I was like, okay, let me do that. And I did that and got the internship that way. Even my job, I found it like that. Um, but if you're talking about on-campus jobs, even I have a funny story in that. So I had a phone interview, and they choose somebody else over me. And then I was like, I had one of the best interviews in my life. Why would they reject me, or why wouldn't they take me? I wrote a mail to them, and I was like, I did my best, and I believe that I was one of the best candidates you would ever interview, and I was so confident because the job was very menial, and so they responded me back saying, "Okay, we hire you," and so I got hired to Columbia's. I was the admissions ambassador, so I helped people with their applications and all.
Okay. So after
So
you
that,
revolted against the rejection, they accepted you.
yeah, yes, yes.
So you after that, I think this one lesson is also for the audience that even you get rejected, let's say officially, you should still try to write the one last email to them. Maybe something can happen.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I was like, I was so sure that I'll be getting this, and I was so confident. But when I got that email, no, it was a generic email that they used to send it to everyone. I was like, no, I won't accept this. I mailed the admissions director. I told them, like, I had one of the best interviews. I think you made a mistake by not taking me. And then he responded me back by saying, okay, you can join from this day and that day.
So he said that I admit my mistake. Let's revoke
He
your
said, we
rejection.
have a position. He said, we have a position. You're more than welcome to join. Are you interested now? And I was like, yeah, of course.
Okay. And this thing that you did, you help with the application process. So anyone who applies to your university, you help them with the hand holding them.
Yes, yes. So if they're facing any problem with their application, they are not able to fill something, or they want to get an idea how these things work, like do they have to submit English proficiency tests, or if they have to submit best evaluation that I told you, and other like exams like GRE or GMAT. So I would
These
tell
are
them
all
if they need it.
online
Yeah.
sessions, or you had to give them a campus tour also.
Yeah, even the campus tour as well, like for some people, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So
So
what
I
do you
was
think
like
about this
representing.
campus tour? Like, do you think it's good or do you think it's waste of time?
No, it's actually good. You get to know about a lot of places. I even when I came here, I had a campus tour. I learned a lot of things about Colombia, and I got to know about good places, cool places where we can hang out. So I think that was important. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even explored that place. So I think it's important in that sense.
But you might be giving to the one which who are like prospective students, or let's say the school student,
Mhm.
or like
Right.
junior, potential junior, let's say your potential junior, kind of,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So for you, when campus tour was given, you were already sort of got enrolled into Columbia, whereas the other person is still trying to figure out that if Columbia is the best fit for them. So how do you
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
a tour for, let's say, a teenager versus a tour of an adult to Columbia?
Also, I never got a chance to give a tour to a junior or somebody who's joining for undergrad. They were only for masters for where I was working, and so they were all experienced people. I made good connections with them actually while giving tours. So I got to know I got a job opportunity from somebody actually, like because I was just giving tour, and he was like, "Yeah, let me give you my email address, and if you have any problem or if you're looking for jobs, let me know." And I was like, "Wow." this is I don't know, like this is an opportunity out of nowhere. I'm doing my work and I got this opportunity. So I think those people were mostly interested in coffee places, like where they can have coffee or chill and do their work. Which library is the best? Columbia has a lot of libraries, so which library is best for them, or where they'll be having their classes. So it was more about that, and they were interested in that. And other than campus tour, we used to talk a lot, like, okay, tell me about yourself, and they would introduce them and I would introduce myself. So it was like a connection happening, and they felt connected with the university that way.
Sure, sure. And this job offer that you got is one of the prospective student gave you the job offer, or their parent maybe.
So no. So this student, he was around 40, and so he was already working, and they were coming for MBA. So they already have a job, and they were doing executive. They were planning to do executive MBA, EMBA program, and so they were already working, and I knew it that they can be of help. So I was just introducing myself, and they were kind enough to give me that offer.
So you are giving this tour to or the meetup to the graduate students, masters,
Right.
MBA, executive MBA,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Right.
And I think this kind of trip would also act like a motivation to them, even if they're not joining, let's say, Columbia. They might not be joining and all, but they may find themselves not getting derailed in their path that someday I will join.
Yeah. 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 And they could see, like, they can get the inspiration how Columbia is. So we talk about everything, how the classes are, and what you'll be learning in certain classes, or like how electives work and everything. So
Sure, sure. And then you are getting paid by the college side, right? Like for all
right.
the hours you put in.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sure, sure, sure. So there was always like some or the other query coming up every now and then, and they used to assign that, okay, today you do the work, today you do the work. Pretty
Yeah,
much like, let's
yeah.
say,
So we
Uber
had
kind of.
assigned. Yeah, yeah. So we had days assigned for, like, Thursday is campus tour day, so you have to give campus tour to people. And Monday is like you attend calls from students, prospective students. They have any problems with their application. So we had days assigned, and yes, this is how it worked.
They pretty much employed their own student to, be the brand ambassadors kind of, as well as
Yes.
the host,
Yeah,
Airbnb
right.
host,
Yeah.
the
Right.
college instead of the house.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure, sure, sure. So your course lasted like, what was the duration of your course totally?
It was 16 months. So I started in September of 2022, and my course ended in December 2023.
And so
So
you had this internship. So this is the part-time jobs were there and as an admission counselor and campus
yeah,
tour, etc. And you did any like a full-time internship in between, or it was all like part-time
yeah.
internships also?
No, no. So I did full-time internship during summer. Uh, it was from a professor I told you. Like, I got a job through them. They helped me connect to the CEO. And so I worked for like 3 months there, full time. It was a Texas-based company, but I was working from home. Um, it was a remote job. Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure.
But
So you had
it was
initially part-time jobs and then you did this full-time internship in the summer. And after that?
right. After that, I did part-time again because my semester, I had one last semester here. And during my last semester, I got a job offer, full-time job offer, which started from Feb this year.
And how did you get your full-time job offer? Was there again a lot of rejections happening or this was smoother?
It was very smooth somehow. So I don't know, like, I think my network, it worked out pretty well. Like, I networked with the right people, I think. And so this was through a professor again. He used to teach, and nobody used to talk to him, and I was the only person who would go and say hi, and like, how is he doing, how was his day. And so I would talk about, like, struggles that people have, international students have. And then if he has any opening in his company, at that time he didn't have any opening, but then it was in Jan 2023. I think he was my professor, so I just kept in touch with him. And in October 2023, he he reached out to me and he said like, I have this of like a position at my company. You can apply here. I think it's a good fit. And I was like, okay, let me do it. I just applied to that company. There were like 8 rounds of interviews. It was very tough. Uh, and but then I got into that company, and this is how I got my full-time job offer before even graduating. So that was
Sure.
something great.
So, did you feel yourself a bit privileged in this that you got the full time before you graduated, or what was the case with your peers?
Yeah, it was very, I think the job market is really bad right now. So it's very difficult to get a job if you're looking right now or at that time as well. So I think, uh, like I said, like my connections were pretty nice. So I got the opportunity. But other than that, like I saw my friends struggling. They applied to like thousands of jobs and you don't get any response from them, not even a rejection response from them. It's just they ghosted you out. So I think I got lucky, and but obviously I did a thing which they didn't. So I think that stood me out from them or from the crowd. Um, I think everybody who got a job, it was through networking. That was the only way you get here. I think now it's changing for every place, even for India. Like if you have network, you get jobs. So that is
Agreed.
something that helped me. Yes.
So, this networking thing that you did, I get an idea that you did some online networking probably through LinkedIn and all, and but you also did a lot of offline networking, like going to professors who were like pretty much maybe
I believed
looking
in
for
offline
something.
networking. Yeah, so I believed in offline networking. I wrote a book on networking actually, because I wanted to help people, and I helped a lot of people. Like that was my passion, just to help like getting people jobs, and I help them getting connected to people. If I have connections and I am doing well, so I'll just help them to get connected as well, so that they can also get jobs. And I went to a lot of offline events. Even right now, I do that a lot. Like I have an event after this call, and so I'm meeting a director of Alibaba right now, like after this call. So I meet with a lot of people all the time. I think that's something that is very, very, very important. You go out, there are a lot of networking events happening in New York, and people should take advantage of those events. Like you meet a lot of people. I met people from LinkedIn, so I told them problems with their website. And then they were like, yeah, we'll raise a Jira ticket for you. So I think it was very nice. So this is how I initiate a conversation. I just talk about their product and how I don't like it or how I like it. Like for Instagram as well, like I met people from Meta. So I was telling them about the problems that I was having with Instagram and how they can improvise. And then they are pretty nice, so they're chill people, so you get connected with them, and then you crack a joke or two, they become like your friends, even if they're older than you. Like a lot of people that I meet, they are actually very old, because they are with the company for like 10 years, 12 years. So but I think to have that network, to have that connection, it really helps. And in future, if you need something, even guidance, so they are there to help you out. So people should look out for networking events. There are a lot of apps that help you get connected with people for offline events. I believed in offline events more than online, because in online people don't respond to you, people ghost you, you don't know how the other person is, what's their mood. And so
Sure.
I
But you
believe
are
in
using
offline.
the online channels to find the events which are happening offline.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah.
And when you go to these events, do you also find out like through LinkedIn and all that? So these are the people coming. So let me just drop a message to them that, I'm coming to this place. Let's meet. Let's, have a bit of a conversation about the feedback, etc.
Yeah, I didn't do it, but I can try. Like I haven't done it uh till now. I generally go there and just meet people. I see, okay, this is some like I can talk to this person or that person. So I just go up to them and talk to them. And then I connect over LinkedIn with them, because I know now they'll be responding to me. If I would have texted them beforehand, they wouldn't know me. And like if they are not connected with me, they wouldn't respond to me. So
Sure,
yeah.
sure. So let me guess, correct me if I'm wrong. You are mainly
Mhm.
using a strategy of, let's say, talking about negative things about all these people so that they remember you more because everyone is praising them anyways.
No, no, not necessarily, but only with a couple of people. I do that if I genuinely have a problem with them, with their application or their company. Otherwise, it's just a normal conversation. Like I introduce myself, they introduce themselves, and then we talk about every other thing on this planet.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. But do you see this happening that when you talk about all the negative things or like a negative feedback, they remember you more than the positive ones?
I wouldn't say so. And they take it as a joke, actually. So it's just icebreaker, basically. So you just break the ice and then you just start having conversation after that. So it's more like that rather than they remembering me for that particular reason. I don't think so. That's the case.
Do you sometimes use this sandwich theorem that you say good thing, good thing, or the other way around, bad thing, bad thing, or never anything, no strategy as such. It's just on the flow, whatever comes to your mind, you just say. Any strategic
No, no, no.
communication
I have no
strategy?
strategy. No, no, no. I don't use any strategy, but I can, yeah, maybe I'll read about it and I'll try using it. I haven't used any strategy. It's just normal conversation that I have with people. Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure. That's good. I think it's a good advice to the audience also that do attend all the offline networking events in the vicinity and find about them,
Mm.
and maybe they start doing this right from the very beginning when they start their degree, because there
Yeah.
is a fair
Yeah.
chance that through this network of professors, the corporates, etc., there is a chance that you can get a referral. So referral will always have more weightage than just an online referral for that matter, or just an online application.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think networking is very, very important. Um, in every sphere of your life, like even if when you're starting or even when you're working, I think, and this was the thing that was told to me by one of my seniors at the company that I was working with. They told me like you're very young, you should network. So he was we were walking and we were going to a restaurant, like it was a team dinner, and so there was this place, a bar, and they were all finance people. So I work in a fintech, and so he said you should be here and you shouldn't come with us, we are old, you shouldn't be with us, you should go with these people and you should attend these events. You should, after attending these events, after when you come out, you should have 3 or 5 friends, like close friends, after you come out from those networking events. And I couldn't understand that what they're trying to say. And now I realize like it's very important for you to network and build connections with people, because you never know when somebody is going to help you. And obviously you have to offer something as well. Like you should have a personality and you should be able to offer something. Like they should know, like if they refer you, you have something in you, you'll be doing great in
Correct.
whatever. Yeah.
So when you go to these offline events, let's say there are 50, 100 people, right? How do you spot
Mhm.
your 5, 10 people? Let's say you cannot probably network with all of them, right?
Yeah,
You have like 2, 3
yeah,
hours or something like that. You can maybe network with 5, 10 people. A good conversation cannot happen with all the 100 people. It can only
right.
happen with a very smaller number. How do you pick
Mhm.
that number, and how do you spot like, okay, these are the people can be my target,
Yeah,
let's say
yeah.
networker for the day.
Mhm. So when I go, I like greet everyone. Okay, hi, how are you? How did you get to know about this event? And I just check the vibe. If it's matching with me, I go on talking with them. And you can see it, like people are interested or not. And so I find like 5 to 10 people, not more than that. Like I went to this event, there were like 700 people. So obviously you can't meet everyone. And then you remember people that you met before, so you just say hi because they are already your connections. And sometimes whatever you're doing or whatever you're looking for, they have someone in mind and they say, I wanted you to meet somebody. So I'm building a startup right now. So my friends, like whatever connections that I have, if I meet them at any event, they would take me to meet some other founders or VCs. So it's very helpful in that sense. They would introduce me to them and I would just have a conversation. So somebody's introducing me. That is also very nice. And if I'm introducing myself like first time to somebody and nobody else is introducing me to them, Then I see if the vibe is matching and what they're doing, if that could be of any value to me or if I could provide any value to them, then I like initiate the conversation and continue with that. Otherwise, I move to the next person, I feel. And like I find like a group like 5 7 people and I try to build a good connection with them at that time, like 2 hours, we get 2 hours or 1.5 hours. So, and once the connection is set, I would reach out to them afterwards on LinkedIn. Like, it was very nice connecting with you. Sometimes they share their numbers, so we have numbers, we exchange memes or whatever, and I share my progress of what I'm doing. So it's very helpful in that sense, and I keep them posted about what I'm doing, and this way they know me, they remember me. Otherwise, like, you meet people and if you don't follow up with them, they forget you, they don't remember you.
Sure, sure. So
And
very good point that you meet people, you create an impression, then you
mhm.
send them LinkedIn request, maybe exchange numbers, and then you keep them posted like every now and then, like a
Yeah,
regular touch. Don't forget them.
follow up every once a week. Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure. And all this you knew from like childhood?
No, no. No. So I had no idea. And I was always in my comfort zone. So I thought, why do we have to network? And it was something not natural to me. Like, I would stay at my home, I would meet my friends only. I wouldn't talk to any random. Like, even though I was not an introvert, if I'm in a group, I would talk to everyone. But I think this was something I went outside my comfort zone because it's not easy. You go, you dress up, you have to dress up and go to these events. And sometimes you don't want to do it. And like most of the times I was very lazy. And but then I realized, no, it's very important. It's for my own growth. And if I'm doing something and I would need people around me to support me. So I just, it's a very important advice. Like, don't stay in your comfort zone. It's very important to move out of your comfort zone and explore. The world has a lot to offer, which I didn't knew at all. Uh, but now that I've known this, I think it's very important to go out and meet people and learn
So
from their
did
experiences.
you find the ice breaking as the hardest part?
Um, I don't know. Generally, I talk to people, so I don't think it's a problem with me. Like, I haven't faced this problem at all. But yes, sometimes you might, like, if there is something I like, if I'm talking to someone and I don't have anything common between the two of us, it becomes a problem. I don't know what to talk about. Like, what would I talk about? And that could be a problem. But then too, I know something or the other about them, so I can start a conversation, and I'll talk to them if I know like they can be of use. That is very that doesn't sound good, but um, I think I see, like, I judge. Okay, I use my judgment in that sense. Like, if I see, okay, I can talk to these people and they would be helpful, I just initiate conversation.
But the harder part will be how to say bye like in a minute.
So actually, everybody is busy. So they don't mind and nobody minds. And you're just like, yeah, I'll just get a drink, or yeah, I'll see you. It was very nice meeting you. I'll see you around. And you just end the
So you are quite an
conversation there.
expert in the beginner line and the ending line, right? And then you know
Yeah.
what the time interval should be between these two. Like let's say
Yeah.
staying with a
Yeah.
person for like a minute. Now you know that okay, fine. You know this person, I can talk maybe another 4 5 minutes or just 1 minute, and let's wrap up.
Right.
So you already say
Yeah.
bye to the person in your mind, and it's like first you lose the war in your head, and then you actually lose it on the battlefield. So same thing here
Right.
also. First you say no in your
Yeah.
brain, and then now you have to manifest that no.
Yeah.
So
Right. It's
sometimes
actually
it
the
would have also happened the other way around that maybe you are not interested to talk to the person, but the other person is, asking you questions, 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 and now you want to say bye, but you are like feeling very bad that okay, how do I say bye to this guy?
Yeah, it happens a lot of times. Yeah, it happens a lot. And then what I do in that situation, I just say, um, Yeah, it was very nice talking to you, but I'm really busy. I have some call right now. I'll just get back to you immediately, or like as soon as the call gets over, or something like that. Like I remember it happened day before yesterday actually at an event, and the guy was very interested in my startup, what I'm doing, and he was trying to extract information from me, and I knew it. Like this is happening, and I'm not gonna tell you anything. But then I had a friend which I just met here. She became a friend, and so she was actually helping me. She was like, this is, you should go away from this person, like this is too much, you should go away. And then I was like, yeah, I want to do that. Let me just see. And then he was like, let's go to a coffee shop and talk afterward, like we can go there. And then I, like, obviously it's very difficult in the sense like you're saying it to their face, but then I said it was very nice meeting you, but I think I'm busy right now and I have some other commitments, and I'll see you next time. I'll see you at the next event, wherever you'll be going. Let me know where you go. And so
Sure.
this way he was like, okay, he understood that now is not the time, and she's not interested or whatever.
Your friend was showing you some signs that okay, let's go, kind of like like a
Yeah,
silent word.
she wanted to spend time with me and then this guy was there and he was standing. He was talking to both of us, and but we didn't want to talk because it was very late. It was like 10:30 and I had to reach home.
Sure,
And uh,
sure, sure. So you are running a startup as a part-time startup, like in stealth mode or something?
yeah, so I just left my job. So I wanted to do it full time, my startup thing, and I think it should be ready in 2 months or so. So we are building a platform for professionals, and I think you'll see it.
Okay, 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 I can guess maybe,
Yeah,
but I think right now you don't want to talk about it, right? So maybe we'll
yeah,
do one more session after a few months, maybe on your
yeah,
startup. So tell us about your book. You said you wrote a book. So I think I see one on your LinkedIn. Did you write more than one
yeah,
book, or how many books have you
yeah. I've
written so
written
far?
4 books actually. And so one is on networking, which is very helpful because I've talked about all my techniques or whatever I use. I learned it the hard way because there was nobody to teach me, and how these things help me get jobs or like build connections, even for a startup. Like right now, I'm building a startup, so I have support, and that is very helpful. And that was only possible because of networking. And so I've talked about that in that networking book. So it's very helpful for somebody who's new to this networking thing and they want to excel in that. And other than that, there is this Unhook book, which is about how to become a better person in this environment. And it talks about mental health. And so it actually gives some techniques how you can, I don't know, like stay away from depression or things which are
Distractions.
very common here. Yeah, yeah. And here, like people are very depressed. I've seen a lot of people who are depressed because they are away from their family. Not everybody can stay away from their families, and for everyone, it's not easy. For me, maybe it was easy, but then I have seen people, and it's very difficult. Even for my sister, she misses home a lot of, like many days. She's like, "Ah, I miss home. I want to go home." So they are for that.
Most people
And
realize it, after going through this motion.
right, right. Yeah. And then when you are alone and you are not getting the results that you suppose, like that you wanted to happen, and at that time it becomes very difficult and you feel like this is the end of the world. I don't know, I'm good for nothing, and there's this imposter syndrome that comes up. So the book is helping in that way. And we wrote this book together, like me and my business partner, we wrote this book together, and we started writing it in 2020. So it took a lot of time and it's a big book. But there's also another book called Hired, which tells you how to ace your interviews and all that. Which these are all practical skills that I used, and I asked a bunch of people from business school. And so it's like talking to a lot of people, understanding their views, the CEOs, what do they expect from candidates, and how they can excel in the interview process and get hired. So these are the books that I've written.
You believe in creating some impact, right? Like writing few books which can impart your knowledge, and then probably building some startup which can also impact a lot of people. So usually startups are high in the net
Yeah.
impact score, the net worth is a byproduct usually. So that's what
Yes. Yes.
most people do. Like most founders are actually creating some impact, some kind of problem solving, some kind of gap filling, some kind of impact, net impact score, what I call. So I guess
Yeah.
you are that person, or you discovered at some point that, okay, I should do more than just the book. And then you
Yeah.
probably started this startup to help
Yes,
more
yes.
people.
Because book is one thing, and then I want real-time help. Like I want to help people real time. And for that, like I knew that I couldn't have a job. Like job, it consumes a lot of time, even though you get a lot of money, which is good. But then money is not the only motivator. You have other things as well. Like you should feel
And
happy
when
and
did you
content.
realize
So
this, that money can't buy happiness?
I like my parents used to tell me this all the time, but I never understood its meaning. But when I was earning, I realized, okay, um, I was earning good amount, and then at that time, I realized, okay, um, this is not happening. Like I'm wasting my entire day on something that I'm not passionate about. So I should do something which helps people. And Unhooked is actually one of the best books. I feel like it's actually very helpful. It helped me while writing. I was like, wow. And when I read it, I proofread it multiple times, and I was like, I couldn't believe that we wrote it together. Like it's something. It helps you find your purpose, and it's very nice. Like in that sense.
So you like reading your own book a couple of times.
Yeah, because it sometimes you don't remember what you've written, and then you see it, and you're like, wow, can't believe it.
Correct, correct. So yeah, I think to our audience, please try all these books if you want. And I think they might also try your startup once it's released.
Yes, yes,
So coming to the very last question, Par, what advice would you give to younger yourself, like, 2, 3 years, 5 years younger to you, who are like trying to think about study abroad or work abroad or startup abroad as a career path? What would be
yeah.
few advices that you would like to give?
Uh, hmm. So I would just say go with the flow. Don't stress out much because things will work out the way they are supposed to be, and they'll work out pretty well. I think maybe I was very tensed back then, and I shouldn't be tensed because tension doesn't help you in any way. And I feel you'll do pretty well in future. So just go with the flow, take whatever comes up, and be very confident. Talk to a lot of people, which I didn't do back then. I would say go out, explore. It's very important. You learn a lot of things by talking to people, by going out. So do that more. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Thank you very much, Pearl. It was great discussing a lot of things and networking opportunities and the way you network and how you ice
Yeah.
break and how you do the other way around also, how you say no to the person.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have a good day. It's
Yeah. Thank you
quite
so
nice.
much for having me.
Okay,
It
bye.
was
Take
very
care.
nice talking to you. Bye.